Welcome to Economics 3100 Online, or our labor economics course. Today I'd like to go through a brief course introduction for you where I'll talk about the central theme of the course, where we'll talk a little bit about myself and how you access me as your instructor. Then we'll talk about the course organization, and then we'll deal with some of the assignment elements for the course. Let me start off by telling you that this is my absolute favorite course out of the 15 or 16 different classes that I've taught in higher education. I love the material in this course, in part because this is a quantitative intensive course, so there's a lot of numbers, a lot of graphic models and such. The quant doesn't extend into very difficult mathematics. We never go beyond fairly simple algebra. We just deal with lots and lots of them. So it fills that quantitative intensive requirement for the university. This also serves as a fairly effective gateway course to economics for non-econ majors. You'll recall that you didn't need to have any economics as a prerequisite for this, although some does help, it's just not required. But it also serves as a course for economics majors or economics minors to help them put together a number of the different elements that they've studied in some of their different economics courses. In this course, we're really taking a look at a microeconomic analysis of the labor market. One of the things I love about the course is that every one of us are participants in this market, active participants in this market. Even those of you that may be full-time students or perhaps may not even have a job at this point, unbeknownst to yourself, you are an active participant in a labor market because you're investing in that market at this point. For those of us that do have jobs and that do receive income, we're active participants, plainly to see, because we are exchanging our labor for a wage. And then yet others of us that are self-employed and own our means of production, we're exchanging the goods and services that we create with our production for some revenue, and then we take and pay that to ourselves as our wage, but we're paying ourselves. So every one of us is an active participant in the labor market. And I think that you'll find that this course will do a couple of things. It will, one, begin to challenge your notion of some things that you might already think about the labor market, such as elements that we might consider for minimum wage. What's the effect of minimum wage? Or immigration, or income inequality, or unions, or firms that have tremendous monopsony or some influence over the marketplace such that they're able to create significant profits. It'll challenge some of our notions of things like CEO pay and such. So this course hopefully will be very interesting for you. I will tell you that I just dead on love this material, in part because it is so easy to connect to, and I think it adds a layer of richness to our educations. So let's go ahead and begin to discuss the central theme of this course. We will spend the next number of months through this course doing one thing and one thing only. Now, it's going to seem like we're doing quite a few different things, but in fact, all we're doing is answering a question. And that question is, why do different workers receive different wages? The answer to that question is not simple. It's going to take us a few months to work it out, by the way. But the answer is very different depending on the person, and it brings into play numerous influences, numerous investments, numerous elements. We can model these things, we can calculate these things, we can equate them, and at the end of the day, we can try to identify why it is that some workers receive extraordinary pay. Why is it that some workers receive tragically low pay? And why do some workers receive a pay in the middle that they're either happy with or not? It's interesting that when we consider the state of workers in the economy, we're very often thinking of the middle class. But higher income earners or workers also, just as very, very low-income workers are. And it is tremendous to be able to look at the different mechanisms, models, decision-making elements that help us answer that question. I'll tell you right now that that question creates the central focus for your final exam. Your final exam will largely be answering that question in an essay. I tell you that right up front so that you can begin to think about that. And I'll give some meat to that as we get to the final exam. I'll tell you how many words, how many graphic models I want represented, how many different forms of answers I'd like, how many examples I'd like and such. But at this point, you should begin to think every time you see a new piece of information or a new metric or we talk about a content subject on this, you should be asking yourself, why do different workers receive different wages? I'll ask that question a number of times myself. So to give you an idea as to how to access me, first of all, I want you to understand that you have to work really hard to get a lousy grade in one of my classes. Now, there have been people that have done it before, and I'd ask you to not work quite that hard. Similarly, it takes a lot of effort to get a great grade. Here I am, an instructor at a Pac-12 R1 university where you are students that are paying more than a little bit of money to be here. You had to qualify to be here. And as far as I'm concerned, if you will put in the work with this class, you will get a good grade. If you don't put in the work with the class, then you may be disappointed, of course. And there is a fair amount of work, although none of it is terribly difficult. This online course, I believe, has been well constructed, and I have to thank the online course designers at the Teaching and Learning Technology Center here at the University of Utah, especially Jane Wolforth and Nate Saunders. They've done a tremendous job at helping with the back end of this course, helping with the construction. The content is all content that I've put together for you, with very little exception. But they've done a tremendous job. So you'll access this course through Canvas, of course. You'll access me through different office appointments that you might choose to have, and those can be face-to-face, or those may be telephone appointments if you're in a situation where you're just stuck and you need some real time. You have my cell phone number. It's shown here on the screen. And you can text me at any time. I will likely not immediately respond to you, but I will respond to you as soon as I can. Similarly, you can email me, and I am very good about responding to emails, sometimes at any hour of the day or night, by the way. So if you sent me an email and your smartphone starts beeping at you in the middle of the night, you may have been getting the email response from me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You're welcome to call me if you have an emergent need, although I will tell you that I rarely answer my phone unless you're my wife or one of my children, and I recognize them immediately, and I don't think that you're them. But call me, and if you need me, I will call you back. I'll listen to your message, but you're probably better served to text or email me. Throughout this course, we will have at least a couple of live video chats. We'll use video chats to help you prepare for the midterm exams for the course, and then again for the final. So we'll schedule a couple of live video chats, as well as we'll interact through Canvas messaging and the UMail system. But you'll also do some interaction with each other as students through Canvas and UMail as well. I've given you a little photo montage over here to the right, because I know that one of the things that is missing in many online courses is any connection one with another. And I have to admit that one of the reasons that I love teaching is I love the interface with students. And so I will miss that in this course. So I thought I'd just give you photographs of some of the things that are most telling of me or most important to me. My beautiful family, of course, as you see them, and my lovely wife. But also, I do a lot of work in my workshop. I built a wood shop next to my home some years ago, and I built furniture and other projects there. And in the lower right-hand corner of this, you can see a photograph of my deck during the summer, looking out onto some ponds that I have in my backyard. So and you can tell that I spend a lot of time in my yard as well. These are the things that I love. But I also absolutely love economics. If you've already taken the opportunity to review the video that the TLT group did on me, that's part of this course, you've gotten an idea as to what motivates me and why I'm involved in economics and why I love teaching this class. But just rest assured that I am here for you to access, either electronically, digitally, or voice-to-voice, or if need be, and if you're on the University of Utah campus or in the area, I'm certainly welcome or happy to meet with you face-to-face. So let's talk a little bit about the organization of this course. First of all, there is no textbook for this course. I have noted a labor economics text right here. This is Aaron Burgett-Smith's Modern Labor Economics. The version I put up here, photographic for you, is the 11th edition. If you are a economics major, or if this material just seems very interesting to you, I would encourage you to pick up a copy of the text. of this particular text. You can use others as well, but this is perhaps the better of the texts I found at this level of labor economics. Ehrenberg and Smith explain things very well. This might be a nice supplemental piece for you if you need additional information on any of the material that I'm reviewing in the video segments I have for you, or it may be something you want for longer term reference. You do not need to get a brand new copy of this, and it doesn't need to be the current version. I think the current edition is edition 12. I use edition 11, but any edition 9, 10, 11, 12, any of those are readily available. The older editions at $20, $15, $25 for decent condition, and the newer ones, well, for $150 to $180. So I'll let you make your choice in that. You're going to find that this course is organized into modules. There are 15 different modules, beginning with the labor market module that is first up and ending with income inequality as a module. And we cover the entirety of the breadth of the labor market or labor market economics in the course of these modules. Each module is composed of 4 to 6 video segments that I've put together for you, and I'll apologize up front. I've put them together for you. I'm the one that's done these. These are not me being videoed in front of a whiteboard or in front of a classroom. These are Khan Academy style videos, but I do not have as neat a handwriting as Sal Khan, and so I'll apologize right up front that my handwriting is terrible. I have put together a foundation of different PowerPoint slides that I then write on and do models on and mathematics on for you and move through as I go through each of these segments. But each of the 4 to 6 segments per module will then have a very brief 4 to 5 question quiz that you'll take, just a little fill in the blank or multiple choice or true false question, not designed to test you as much as to make sure that you actually took the time to review the material. Because if you get behind in this material at the pace that we move, then you'll be in tough shape when it comes to exams and things that are really meaningful to you. These quizzes are graded, so you should actually try with them, but they don't represent a significant portion of your grade for the course. But it certainly can be the difference between an A and an A minus, or a B plus and a B, etc. So I would take them seriously, but know that they're there just to kind of make sure that you read the material and remind you of a few of the high points I thought are meaningful. At the end of each module, there's a review problem, which is also graded, and the review problems have a higher point value. Take these seriously, not only because they represent some of the quantitative and intuition-based elements that I think are the most important for you in the module that you've just gone through, but because the very best preparation that you're going to do for our exams is reviewing these review problems. The problems on the exams for the 2 midterms exams that we'll have and part of the final will come directly from these review problems and a set of complementary problems that I have that go along with these that you'll find in the supplemental resources section of the course of each module. So pay attention to these, do them well. At the end of each module, you'll have an opportunity to see the right calculations, the right model forms, some comments to me about what I think you should be discussing in short essay questions and such. Each module has a supplemental resources page. If you open up the module, it'll give you an idea as to how it's going to lay out. And at the bottom of that page for the module, the front page for each module, at the bottom it'll say something about supplemental resources, and then there'll be a little link for Model 1 resources or Module 2 resources. I would encourage you to take a look at those additional resources. You do not need to spend any time going through them, but this is a series of videos that I've pulled from YouTube and the internet and Khan Academy, as well as some TED Talks, and then also some instructional primers and complementary problems that are going to be similar to the ones in the review problem, but just enough different to give you another opportunity to practice that material if you would like to do that. So the complementary problems, which you'll find on my website, www.richardhaskell.net, but you'll see them listed as in-class problems on that website. Obviously, there is no in-class time for our online course. I developed these problems for some of the face-to-face classes I have, so you'll see that term for them. But these will be complementary to the problems that we'll do in the review. Problems will be similar in structure, but test you and a little bit differently and make sure that you understand what we're dealing with. I think you'll appreciate having these. So take a few minutes at the end of each module, at least look to see what's there and to see what you might want to spend a little bit more time with. Two of the more interesting assignments that we will do in this class are focus on a research project. I will have you at the very beginning of the class, at the very beginning of the course, I'll have you organized into groups of 3 and 4 students whom you may never be together with face-to-face. You may only be together online, and sometimes that's going to be maybe in a live chat session, or more often than not just by email and text and messaging. But you'll collaborate as small research groups to create a research poster focused on one of the different topics that I'll make available to you. When you get the topic assignment and when you coalesce into these small research groups, the topic that you'll receive will be extraordinarily broad, something like labor demand, or income inequality in the labor markets, or compensating wage differentials, or monopsony in the labor market. Those are not topics that you can nicely and neatly put into a poster or a paper. Those are topics you may fill a shelf in a library discussing. So one of the things that you and your research group will do is you'll take that very broad topic and you will narrow it down to a very finite, very, very tightly focused research question that can be quantified and that can be answered and that fits under the greater umbrella of that topic that I've given you. I will tell you that the most difficult part of this project that any of the students that I've had do this, and I've now had a few hundred students do this particular project, is narrowing their question tightly enough so that it fits within this research poster. I've given you an example of a research poster here. You'll end up creating a research poster, and given that this is an online class, you'll never actually have it printed. It'll just be in poster format through a PDF or through a PowerPoint slide, and we'll talk later in the course as to how you form these, of course. But you'll actually be identifying your topic, and you'll put your very specific question, and then you'll be representing the different research mechanisms you used and the outcomes. This particular one I'm showing you here on the screen today is actually a research poster that I did 2 years ago and won a research award from our college for. And you can see that it has numerous graphics, it has plenty of text, it has some model forms, it has some charts and such. So there's a lot going on here. And the poster, in this case, really is talking about secondary and higher education innovations and how those innovations play out in the higher education and labor markets. Specifically, I looked at the effects of student participation in Utah's public secondary education career paths and analyzed the effects of dual credit enrollment and early college high school on the Utah high school graduation cohorts of 2008 and 2009. So what I've just done for you, by the way, is I've modeled how you take a broad topic like innovations in secondary and higher education, and you focus down into a more narrow topic, the effects of student participation in Utah's public secondary education career paths, which is a mouthful, I know that. But then you narrow it down even further into some things that are measurable, and I looked at dual credit enrollment and early college high school in the 2008 and 2009 Utah public high school graduation cohorts. That's very finite. And that is material, research, and outcomes that you can put on a poster. One of the assignment sets that will be complementary to this, that each of you will individually work on, is a series of reaction papers. I believe that you're each asked to put together 3 reaction papers, and a reaction paper will be where you have taken a journal article, a couple of magazine articles, and another published source, a couple of high-level blogs, maybe in some other printed peer-reviewed journal article, that are complementary to not just your broad topic, but your very narrow topic. and your narrowly defined question, and will help you as you research and write short papers using these different pieces of published material, will help you form the foundation of the research you're doing for your research project. So if there are 4 people in each of the research groups, and each person does 3 reaction papers, and you'll choose the topics, you'll choose the articles, you choose all of this, but you'll each do 3 reaction papers, then that then means that there will have been 12 reaction papers written that should lay the foundation of this research project that the 4 of you will be working on. And each of those reaction papers probably employed 2, 3, or 4 different resources. So if we take 12 times 4, that's 48 different resources that we have immediately at your disposal, and that you can then use to create this research poster. This is an exciting project. I will tell you that students in the early part of the course, when they're starting to gear up for this, almost always kind of lag behind what they should be doing on this. So I'm going to encourage you to get on these projects quickly. And people very often are racing to the finish on these things, but while they're doing this, they're a little bit annoyed at why they have to do this. But to an individual, literally everyone that I've had go through this will tell you that this has been some of the best learning that they've done. I get involved with you to help analyze some of these things, to help you understand what's going on, and then I also have you rely on one another. And then you'll actually do a presentation online that I and the rest of the students in class will be able to see from your research poster. And then if you'd like to submit your research poster into the CSBS Student Research Day at the University of Utah in the spring, you're welcome to do that. You will have to have it printed for that. So again, this is an exciting course. I love this course. Here's, again, my email, my cell phone number so you can text me, or if you need to, call me, my faculty website here at the University of Utah. And then, as I said, I have a complimentary online website in which I keep numerous resources for this class and others that I teach. It's a great repository, and you'll go to that site numerous times as you're looking for different pieces of material. Good luck in this class. I hope to have a lot of interaction with you, and this class can be a lot of fun. And remember, at every turn, ask, why do different workers receive different wages? And I promise you're going to come up with lots of great answers.